Superman visits the future in Superman issue 50. Superman continues his attack on Vandal Savage up at the comet, now sitting in Earth's orbit. Catching up to him, Superman attacks the Immortal, but the comet makes Vandal stronger as he gets closer to it. Unleashing his supercharged powers, Vandal attacks Superman, knocking him back down to Earth. Going after him, Vandal says Superman was given a great gift with his strength, but has wasted it away, making him a servant to Earth and its people. Puzzler arrives and covers Superman in a type of energy. Waking up, Superman finds himself in his Kryptonian rocket. Leaving it, he discovers that he is on Krypton, in his father's house. Finding his mother and father, he also sees himself as a young boy. An earthquake rocks the building, cracking its supports, but before they can fall on Jor-El, Kal, and Lara, Superman saves them. Thanking Superman, the family say that the High Chief must have sent him to save them. Superman asks why they have his ship, and Lara tells him that Jor-El built it years prior to when Krypton's core was unstable, but thanks to the High Chief they were saved. Going to the High Chief's building, Superman is attacked by some of his guards, which one of them tells him where the Chief is. Entering his chambers, Superman finds that the High Chief is Vandal Savage. Vandal says that he has power to help Krypton, and thanks to one of Superman's ancestors, the comet which was originally meant to hit Krypton was diverted to Earth, giving Vandal his powers. Had the comet hit Krypton, millions would have died, but the civilization would emerge stronger, ruled by one Kryptonian who had gotten the same powers as Vandal had, meaning the planet would not explode and Superman could have lived with his family in peace. Moving on to the future of Earth, Vandal shows Superman the Stronghold, Vandal's massive base on Earth, where he and Superman rule. Alerted to the Dominators breaching Earth's orbit, Superman, now called General Superman, leads his Justice League against them, wanting to play along with Vandal's game. While fighting, Superman can't help but think that this feels right. Later on, Vandal says that if Superman joins him, this would be his future and the future of Earth. Superman asks what happens to the weak on this planet, but Vandal says that this isn't a place for them in his world. Superman says that any threat that comes to Earth in the future, the Justice League and him will stop them. But Vandal says that while his Justice League is impressive, they will eventually fall and the Earth will become like Krypton. Lois, Perry and Jimmy arrive, being slaves to Vandal. Seeing his friends as slaves makes Superman break them out of their chains, freeing them, which prompts Vandal to show him what the future looks like without them intervening. Returning to the present, Clark is given a choice by Vandal as he leaves for the comet. News trucks arrive as Clark remembers something Pa Kent told him, which was when a young Clark wanted to beat up some bullies. Pa Kent told him to make the choice a good boy like Clark would make. Going after Vandal and Puzzler, Superman attacks them, stopping them from pushing the comet to Earth. Puzzler comes after him, and thanks to assimilating Horder, he can talk with Clark's mind. Puzzler asks him why he never killed Horder when he had the chance. Superman says that while Horder never had a human body, he was still human in his mind and not Data. Superman tells Puzzler he is the same as Horder, and he should stop being Vandal's lackey. Helping Superman, Puzzler pushes the comet back up, angering Vandal, who uses his newfound powers to fracture the comet, causing it to explode, hurling Vandal into space and Puzzler and Superman back to Earth. Lois and Jimmy find Superman and tell him that Puzzler fell into the ocean and the Coast Guard are looking for him. Clark tries to apologize to Lois for everything that has happened since his identity was leaked, but she is also sorry for what has happened. Later on, Lois, Jimmy and Clark are eating at the world's finest cafe, when Jimmy says that Perry hired him back after getting a great photo of Superman from the battle. Hearing someone call for help, Clark rushes out, changing into his Superman costume and flying off to help those in need. So that's it for the whole Vandal Savage storyline. Kinda glad it's over. It kinda ran for a little bit longer than it should have. It ran probably 5 issues longer than it should have. But yeah, I'm glad it's finally over. And again, it was a really good ending as well. Apart from this week's Superman Wonder Woman comic, which didn't really need to be there. There was only one problem, and that is that DC promised that this issue would be where Superman meets pre-Flashpoint Superman. Now, I know they did sort of change it around and say, oh no, he's going to be meeting him in issue 51 now. But then I swear, like, a bunch of fans, like heaps of people got really mad at that because they basically basically sort of played people and sort of getting them hyped and make them buy this issue and then tell them it's not going to happen. They sort of undid that and say, no, well, it's going to be happening again, because in all the synopsises for this, in like every website I looked at, because I checked this before I read this comic, it says that he met him in this comic, and he doesn't, and they never bothered to like send out a revised synopsis to sort of warn all these people that no, it's not happening this issue, it's happening next issue. So that was kind of like a big stuff up there on their part. No, a lot of people are not very happy with it. I talked with a bunch of people who I talk with Superman comics about, and they even assumed like, oh, like, where is he? Why didn't he appear in this issue? Was there a panel missing from my comic or something? Other than that, it was a pretty cool comic. I liked the ending. I like that the parts that I liked was how Superman convinced Puzzler to become a good guy, without even throwing a punch, and that's so Superman. Like, and it shows you what he stands for, because like he doesn't just attack people. He always just tries to talk with them and tries to discern like what's up with them, what's their problem, why are they doing evil stuff. And that's what he did with this. Like he said, like, Horder wasn't just Data, he had humanity, so I didn't want to kill him. And it's the same with like how he fights people like Doomsday. Like, Doomsday had no humanity, he was just animalistic and just had death and murder and killing on his mind. So Superman was able to go that little bit further with him and actually kill him. But if, say, he had some humanity and could talk and actually had a conscience and everything, Superman wouldn't kill him. Superman would find another way. That's how sort of Superman discerns how to deal with stuff. He thinks about it. He's not just this big dumb brute who just punches people through buildings, and I think a lot of people need to realize that. Yeah, this comic was a pretty cool ending to a pretty good series, pretty good action event. It had its ups and downs. There were a couple of issues here and there, especially near the end, that started getting a little bit crappy, but all in all it was a pretty solid event. Though I would say, like, if you're new to comics, you could probably just skip out on it. It's not one of those big defining moments in Superman's history. You could probably just read the last Action Comics, because they sort of gives you like a background on what's going on. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.